started. Coach, open it up with a statement, and then we'll take questions.
Give credit to our players. They fought the whole game. Our coaching staff, what a tremendous job of grit and determination. Give credit to Lane Kiffin. I think he's done a tremendous job with that football team. Matt Corral was an outstanding quarterback. Hard to stop, but our guys fought throughout the whole game and came up with the win. Very proud of them.
Coach, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Terrace Marshall Jr. all fall just shy of that Josh Reed mark at 293. And two true freshmen. Max is able to hit Kayshon to go ahead late and put him over 300 yards. What can you say about the connection between those two in a game where you needed every bit of it?
Yeah, there's a lot of hard work going into that. Those guys, you can come in the office on Saturday and Sunday in the summer. They're throwing, they're working out on their own. Students of the game, two outstanding young players, great job of calling according to the coverages and putting the ball in our best players' hands. I was very proud of them.
Coach Kayshon really has just turned it up a notch the last couple of games. What do you think really clicked for him in the back half of this season?
Confidence, obviously. The day Jamar Chase left, Kayshon had a tremendous practice. Man, he was catching the go route about as good as anybody I've seen. But he's learned our offense. He's not only a speed receiver, he runs good route, especially the dig, and he catches all the balls thrown to him. So he's made a bunch of improvement. Still has a lot of ways to go. I think he's going to be one of the great players that we have here at LSU.
Hey, Coach, Ronald Riggs, LSU Sports. You guys have been through a lot this season between allegations, embarrassing losses, but you finished the season a big win over Florida on the road and a come from behind win in the fourth quarter. Do you think this is the closest the team has been all season?
Yeah, I think that we fought through adversity, obviously. We stayed with each other, and those guys that chose not to opt out to finish, very proud of them, very proud of the seniors who played their last games. And I think it showed the young guys, too, that never quit. Just keep on working. The elation in the locker room after the Florida game, the elation on Wednesday when we had a great signing class, and the elation today was something that you can't replace. It's something that when you fight hard and you work for it, it's something to behold.
Two things at the end of that game. I mean, a defense throughout this year that there's been struggles throughout the year, and then the offense that with all the losses that's happened this year, you get the stops you need, and your quarterback comes through again. What does that show about this team and what you have for the future?
Yeah, grit, courage, a belief that we're going to win, and kept on playing. And we knew that they were an explosive offense. We knew they were going to make plays. I think we had 5 turnovers. That's the deciding part of the game, obviously. But at the end, our guys kept on fighting, and they gave it all they had. We had some defensive linemen. We didn't have a big rotation. Guys were giving it all they had, and they won.
And when it comes to Kayshon, it seems like he did a lot of his work on these deep and intermediate crossing routes. Is that something y'all noticed going into the game that y'all wanted to do, or to kind of develop as you saw it?
Yeah, I think it's something Steve noticed according to the coverage. And he was calling routes according to the coverage. And obviously, Kayshon is very fast and can get open. I think the best thing about Kayshon is his sure hands. Anything you throw him, he's going to catch.
Hey, Coach. 2 seniors, Neil Farrell and Jacoby Stevens, made 2 huge plays for you down the stretch there.
Yeah.
Just what does that mean for those guys?
Yeah, meant a lot. Neil decided to go home for a little bit because his grandma was sick and came back and fought. Jacoby Stevens became a leader for us. I saw it at the end of the year, starting to play better and became a leader and kept everybody together. So I'm very proud of both of those guys. It's something they can hang their hat on. They can walk away proud.
Coach Kayshon Boutte with WVLA. Max threw his first pick, but the way he responded, what did you see from him?
He's got ice in his veins. I mean, his dad was a Super Bowl champion quarterback. He was raised on football. He knows how to react. Max is even keeled. He's the same guy every day. and just proud of him. He matured a lot tonight. He matured a lot in the swamp. He's going to be a great quarterback for us.
Hey, Coach, it seemed, for really, these last two games, you guys are really trying to, build some confidence heading into next year. And I'm just curious, these last two performances, these last 2 weeks of practice, just where do you feel about this program going into the offseason and just kind of everything that's kind of come with this season?
I'm excited about it. Obviously, I'm excited about the guys that stayed with us. I'm excited the guys that coming back. I think that we're going to have a little bit more of guys staying than have left before. I'm going to talk to a lot of guys that has an opportunity with the extra year to come back, especially on the offensive line. Hopefully I can get most of those guys back. We'll see.
Ed, anything that you saw from Max the last two games surprised you? And I know it's easy to second guess, but do you wish maybe you had played him a little more earlier, or it just didn't work out that way?
No, it didn't, because you know what? He looked more comfortable in the pocket. When he first started, he didn't look comfortable in there. It didn't look like the same player that we saw all camp, all the time in practice. And it looked like the more he played, the more he got comfortable, and the more he was able to execute the offense without turning the football over. I think that's the big part of it.
Ed, you said that you'd wait until the end of the season to really sit down and evaluate your staff, where to go forward. After tonight, what can you expect going to the offseason?
You know what? I'm going to enjoy the victory.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you, your defense had given up 4 straight touchdown drives, and then in the last 2 drives, what changed? What did you do differently to force the 3 and out, and then I was involved?
Yeah, the pressure on the quarterback. Now, the third down was killing us, and the quarterback was running up the middle, and we started bull rushing our guys, and obviously the pressure on the quarterback helped. Tight coverage. They were picking on our young corners. We knew they were going to do that. The guys came up with a play.
Last one for Jacques.
Coach, years from now, people will reflect back on this season, and I'm not sure what they'll say about it. It's been kind of like the Twilight Zone all year, I'm sure, for you. What has it been like just this whole year? No fans, the lack of atmosphere, these crazy games, the rescheduling of games, the opting out. How do you think you'll reflect back on it?
You just have to go day by day. You had to flow with the punches. And obviously, I think that throughout the season, our team became tougher. Our coaching staff became closer. We continued to fight. I went through a lot of adversity. There were some games that we didn't play very well, but we came back and we fought, and we finished strong. That's what I'm going to remember about this team.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys, go Tigers. What's up, Emily?
Hey, visiting time.
All right.
Thank you, Cobble. We appreciate your service to the media. You really pulled through today. You saved Jacques from getting wet, cold. Okay, we'll get started. If you have a question, please put in the chat.
Hey, on that, the final drive of this game, take us through that play, getting to the end zone. It's pouring down rain. Like, what is that feeling getting through and scoring that touchdown?
It's a great feeling. I was hurting before the play. I had twisted my ankle. I had spattered it up a little bit. I was like, it's a tough game. I can't quit now. We got to push through in order to be victorious.
Hey, I mean, there obviously came a point in this game where you were just kind of taking over. I mean, like, what is that feeling kind of like when you know, like, the offense is going through you and you're kind of in, like, ISO mode there a little bit?
I gotta say, it's a good feeling. You can't really quit knowing that you getting the most receptions, most catches. It's like the game in your hands. You just gotta complete your passes and make progress off of it.
Sorry to introduce. This is Kayshon. Glenn?
Hey, Kayshon, I'm sorry I couldn't really hear the first two questions, but just can you talk a little bit about your chemistry with Max? I mean, you guys really over the last 2 weeks have kind of seemed to really develop a pretty close on-field chemistry. Just talk about how maybe that's developed as the season has progressed.
We started in the summer outside of football, going to the field, throwing routes, catching passes, and throughout the season we progressed, got closer. When Max realized he was starting quarterback, we put in more work, like after practice, catching balls, catching jugs, running routes, and all I could say is the hard work paying off.
Hey, Kayshon, coming into the season, you were about to be wide receiver number 2. As the season went on and certain guys opted out, you ended up wide receiver number 1 like you are now. Did you think that you would come in and have this sort of game this early in your career?
I didn't think I'd have this game this year. I assumed I'd have it next year, but seeing that Jamal opted out, it made me step up. And then when Terrace opted out, the goal to myself was to be wide receiver 1. And throughout the past 3 weeks, I worked hard in order to be that.
Kayshon, has anyone told you that you set the SEC single game receiving record tonight? I mean, that was a record that a former LSU receiver had, who was an All-American, won the Biletnikoff Award, Josh Reed. And what does that mean to you in your young career?
I can say it's a good feeling knowing that I set an SEC record as young as I am, 18 years old, a freshman, true freshman, knowing I have 2 more years to progress.
Kayshon, my question was asked to you earlier, but just give me a thought on just what was it kind of the feeling on the sideline when you're down 48-40? You had really done well offensively until a certain point, but then it wasn't looking too good there.
Coming off the sideline onto the field, knowing we was down, knowing this drive mattered the most because we had to make a big play to keep the game close.
Hey, Kayshon, I mean, you're one of the young guys on this team who came through this. I mean, Johnson too. After this kind of game, these last 2 games that y'all have had, what can you say about y'all's group and the future you think is building within your team?
I can say, as in this year, we really worked a lot for it, and it's an eye-opener for next season, and it's something to look forward to.
Last question for Kabul.
Hey, Kayshon, I need you to say and spell your name so we get it right on TV. And then secondly, just your yards after catch. Just the yards after catch on those field conditions and playing in that kind of rain like that. How difficult that was?
Yards after catch, it wasn't that bad. The first thing, most importantly, you just got to secure the pass. Catch the ball, then make your moves after. That's the biggest part of it.
Thank you, Kayshon. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
We'll have Jabril. Great job. Yeah, we can start with you.
Excellent game, bro.
Ready, Jacques?
Yeah, is he up?
Yep.
Okay. Jabril, how do you describe the game you just played? And so wild, the rain, the turnovers, and then the defensive stand at the end. How will you remember this game?
This game was a hard-fought one. Coming out, it was a long one, long, cold one. It's one of the ones I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, especially being the last one, being a senior. So this game was a memorable one. The offense came out, put up points. Defense, we had a couple stops, and it was just one for the books.
Jabril, 7 turnovers in this game. I mean, take us through that 3rd and 12, right before. I mean, y'all are down by 2. What's going on in that timeout? And when y'all get on the field, what's the feeling? What have y'all? What was the energy?
Yeah, the energy was there. Coach Boutte, he just kept talking to us about keep going. Turnovers coming. They're going to give you the ball. Just keep pressing. And as you can see, it was 7 turnovers. So Coach Boutte, he was just keep getting us all mentally prepared to just battle, and it was a hard-fought one.
And with these last couple of games, it seems like they were getting their yards. How in this defense do you guys kind of take those blows, but you still expect you're going to come up with the big play in the end?
Right. It was sort of a bend but don't break type of scheme that we were running. But just at the end of the day, it was guys just digging in deep and just doing their assignments right throughout the whole game.
And to bounce off that, yeah, I mean, you said people doing their assignments right, but 7 turnovers. I mean, was it something Corral was doing, something your defense was doing to create all those turnovers?
Right, definitely defense. We watched his Arkansas game, and he threw 6 interceptions, so we knew he was going to give the ball up, but we just didn't know when. And Jay Ward, he made a couple good plays. Todd, and you can see at the end, he fumbled the ball, so we knew he had problems with keeping the ball secure.
Jabril, I probably don't even have to tell you that Kayshon broke an LSU and SEC record tonight for receiving yards. Did y'all kind of know this that he had this ability at some point?
Oh yeah, definitely. Coming in early, you see Kayshon. He's just extremely athletic. He's one of those guys that you can see him just progress throughout the year, and especially with people leaving, him having to step up, and right there it just shows you his potential and how far he can go, and sky's the limit for him.
Jabril, you came to this team with a lot of aspirations for yourself. After the season's over, how do you think people should look at this defense as a whole after this season?
They should see it's a promising future, especially for defense. The way we played the past couple games, like I've been saying throughout the whole year, Coach Bo Pelini, his scheme works, and it's just us guys that have to come together and just continue to work at it, especially with the pandemic that we're in and not being able to have spring ball together, summer workouts where a lot of people not there because of certain situations. This was really, towards the end of the season, was really how Coach Bo, his defense is supposed to be, and I hope people see that and continue to improve on it.
Hey, Jabril, I know we've asked you about this a lot over the last couple of weeks, but just, finally capping these last 2 games off with a win, I mean, just where do you see as kind of an older player this direction of this program and just kind of the momentum that they've been building here, over these last 2 weeks with these wins?
Yeah, truly upward. Most of our production was from younger guys, and you can see it. So we can only get better as a whole program and just continue to work during the off season. And if we continue to work, it can only go up from here.
Thank you, Jabril. Appreciate the time.
All right, thank you.
All right, Jacoby up next.
Good job, Jabril. Thank you, man.
Oh.
Jared?
Oh, sorry. Well, Jacoby, your final play as the LSU Tigers recovering a fumble and ending a very dramatic game. How did it feel whenever you came with the ball?
Man, I'm also worse for that moment. I guess that's a way to end a career at a place. I mean, all I can think about now is just all the things that I experienced here for 4 years, and I mean, you're never gonna get those moments back. So, I mean, I guess to go out that way, I mean, it's really special.
Jacoby, you've seen a lot of great receivers here, played alongside, Jamar and Justin and Terrace. What was it like watching Kayshon do what he did tonight?
Man, watching him do. Hold on, he'll let him leave. I'm not gonna talk good in front of him. But he's a special receiver, man, and the sky's the limit for him. And like I told him after the game, just get his body right, and he's gonna have a hell of a career ahead of him.
Jacoby, I mean, some people have said that you've really taken on even more of a leadership role these last few weeks as the season's end. I guess just kind of what have you tried to do in this pretty wild season and what have you seen from that locker room to kind of get where you are right now?
This season was just full of lessons. I mean, for me, it made me mature. Like I said at the beginning of the season, that I'm a sore loser, and when things weren't going right, I got out of character. Just because losing just doesn't sit right with me, and when things for me, I just basically just got one with God and just asked Him for guidance and patience, and He blessed me with that, and I was able to move forward through the season and just make the most of the finishing the season.
Hey, Jacoby, you guys as the defense were able to force 6 pretty key turnovers tonight, able to capitalize, I think, with points on most of them. I guess just talk a little bit about the game plan heading in on Matt Corral and just kind of how you guys were able to attack it from.
Well, the thing was, we knew he was going to give the ball to us. We just had to trust the game plan, and when plays were there to be made, we had to make them. But the 6 turnovers are outstanding. I mean, it just shows you the talent of this defense. I know we gave up some stuff towards the end, but like Jabril said earlier, that we have a lot of young guys here. And to keep fighting and keep their head on straight through the ups and downs of this game shows a lot of maturity. I mean, they really have to grow up fast this season. And just like that question, I feel like the program is moving upward just because all the young guys are really maturing, and they have a lot of great talent.
Okay, we'll do one last question, Cobble.
Hey man, 2020 has been a crazy year for you. I guess just what will you remember out of this whole?
I mean, just sticking together, just grit and having some fight about us, and one of the things that we talked about with Coach O and talking about with Jack is that you're always going to remember this. I mean, shoot, when the ball stops rolling, my career's done. I'm 50 years old with kids. I could always point back to tell them, hey, I didn't quit. And you don't have an excuse to quit. I mean, the tables and people were quitting left and right. And, just all the guys just stayed in and fought. Those are the memories that you're always going to have with you. You're going to take to the grave with you. And, it was pretty special.
Thank you, Jacoby.
Yes, sir.
We'll wrap up with Max Johnson.
Thanks. Do I look at this or look at that? All right.
Anyone have a question for Max?
Max, if you would just talk about that last drive. 2.5 minutes left. You got no timeouts. The rain's coming down. You need a touchdown. And you start the season where you're thinking just you're in a backup role. What does it feel like to be in that position, and how much did you want it? What were you thinking?
For sure. All year I battled between me and TJ Bell. We're both great players. We expected to be in that position, each of us. The coaches put us in the right positions. Even though the rain was a factor, we all fought through it. We all do a wet ball drill each week, and Coach called some great plays, and my receivers went and made some plays, so it was great.
Max, before you get in there, when you're down by 2, what was kind of y'all's plan? Talking to Ensminger, talking to guys. I mean, what did y'all find that was working to know that you could go down and score?
For sure. We've been working on our dig routes all week. They played cover 6 and they played 3 buzz, and that's what we ran. And we had to find the right holes for the routes, and that's what we came out with.
You're up.
Me?
Chelsea. Yep.
All right, Max, so you threw your first interception of the season, but you bounced back. How were you able to kind of keep your composure?
I mean, the coaches were always, they tell me, you gotta have a short rear view mirror. Like, there's a big windshield in your car. You look forward, but there's a small mirror that you look back on. So, you gotta look forward and not worry about the past. I made a mistake, and we're in the red zone. I got to throw it out of bounds. We're in field goal range. So I got to be better in that area.
Hey Max, for the last 2 weeks you've really developed a great chemistry with Kayshon. Just talk about what it was like to see him put up that SEC record performance tonight. Was y'all's relationship throughout these last couple weeks?
Yeah, for sure. We stay after practice all the time. Work on our routes, work on our timing. I'm good friends with him, so we're tight, and I love playing with him. He makes great plays for us.
Scooter. Scooter.
Okay, I'm here. Be honest, Max. When y'all scored that last touchdown, did you almost think you'd scored too soon?
That's not really what we were planning on. We got to score, and we believed in our defense. They had 6 or 7 turnovers in the game, so we believed in them. They made some great calls, and the defense played a hell of a game.
Max, can you talk about the ability to finish the last 2 drives with touchdowns? Because there were a stretch there where y'all were settling for field goals, and Ole Miss got fired, and y'all found yourself behind. Instead of finishing with touchdowns earlier, you did the job at the end.
We wish we had touchdowns earlier, but it put us in the right positions for later in the game. So we ended with touchdowns, and that's what we needed.
Max, we're talking to Kayshon, and he said that he twisted his ankle before that. He was over there on the bike. You all were on the sideline. Were you concerned maybe you needed your guy back on the?
I honestly didn't know that happened, but he looked great out on the field, and he made all the catches for us. So yeah, he balled out.
Max, this was a pretty memorable finish to this season, and obviously y'all needed it to have a non-losing record. What will you remember from this, and just kind of the way you guys showed some grit down the stretch here?
Yeah, for sure. 2020 has been a hard year for everyone, and we started out the season with a couple losses. We kept fighting. We stuck together. It's a brotherhood, and then I'll remember these players forever, these guys forever. So we fought together, we practiced together, we bled together. So I'm thankful for these guys, my coaches, and I'll never forget these times.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you.